Now, I'm going to fast forward through some things. I am going to sometimes ask you to participate, sometimes I'll just talk. It'll kind of be a little bit, it'll have its own little feng shui as we make our way through the evening, okay? Now, I want to begin with prehistory, and I want to remind you that prehistory is not an appropriate choice for your 30-minute essay. I want to remind you of that, all right? So the College Board for the last 2 years has weighed in that they want students to take a historical piece. And hence, we spent all of one day on prehistory. So it's not that it's unimportant, it's just not necessarily a place of great focus. All right. So the two key areas of prehistory that I want you to be familiar with and know well are the Paleolithic period, where we lived as hunters-gatherers. And during the Paleolithic period, the Old Stonehenge, we have the very, very famous cave paintings. So we're going to look here at the cave from Lascaux. And what's very important to remember about those cave paintings is how deeply they're located inside the cave. Right? We, as hunters-gatherers, didn't live deep in the cave. Where did we live? At the mouth, front. All right? So we know that these weren't decorative pieces. We're almost certain that these are related to the hunt, some kind of ritual of the hunt. Now, again, moving quickly, and we will move kind of quickly through this. Note that this is one of the rare scenes where we get a person, and I want you now that we've covered so much art, all right, I want you to see how very realistically, how very naturalistically the animals are presented, as opposed to this human who's highly abstracted, who's really almost a stick figure. Now, the other important Paleolithic work is this gal. The Venus of Willendorf. How big is she? 4 inches. She fits in your hand, right? Because she served as a fertility charm. Fertility fetish is a term, which is strictly like that term, right? And again, take a look at her. Okay, incredible exaggeration of all the elements that we would associate with fertility. All right, put up your hand if you can answer the following. I want you to tell me the name of this place, the country where it's located, and an approximate, the very best educated guess on its use. So I want the name of the place, the country where it's located, and your very best educated guess on its use. Okay, thank you for these hands. And you're going to have to be good at being willing to participate and not knowing I can't call on somebody, because we're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Nina, thank you.
It's Stonehenge, and it's in England, and it's used for astronomy.
Yeah, probably some kind of ancient observatory. Now here, we make that important transition from Paleolithic, we've already gone through Mesolithic without even stopping, okay, to Neolithic. Now very importantly, what important catalyst has happened in the way we live that propels us into being Neolithic from Paleolithic? Thank you for all these hands. Now, these are the big ticket items. So if you're struggling, I'm going to try my best today to cover lots of big ticket items. So listen up as other people answer. Thank you for these hands. Morgan.
People were settling down.
Well done. So we've mastered that cultivation of grain. Right? We no longer follow the herds. We no longer risk our lives. Now architecture being the most utilitarian of the 3 arts we study, and note how megalithic this structure is. I mean, it's huge. We've got a lot of extra time on our hands if we can build something like this. Now, looking very carefully at Stonehenge, put up a hand and identify the building technique used, because that's one of the things you're going to need to do. Carly, thank you. Well done. All right, so the very simplest, okay, of the building techniques we use. Now, we're going to very rapidly make our way to Mesopotamia. If you have arrived and have not yet tally marked your pizza, come over here and tally mark your pizza. If you need to contribute, there's the bowl to contribute. If you want to start a new pizza, go ahead.
I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
You guys, it's a one topic, you can't just, that's all it is. That's perfect. Yeah, you guys, this is on the honors system, so, contribute if you need to, make change if you need to. No. You can do it later. All right. Now we're gonna, you guys, we're gonna crash through our chronology. So be ready. We're gonna move rapidly. We're gonna hit highlights. All right. That's really what we're gonna do. We're just crash course through a lot of images. All right. Now it's very important when we get to Mesopotamia. I want to make sure you hear me say this. All right. The 3 areas that you can use if your 30-minute prompt next Tuesday says you need a non-Western, a non-European example, and it could. All right, I want to make sure, like I'm putting all my cards out here. All right, you can use Mesopotamia, you can use Egypt, and what's our 3rd area you could use on non-Western, non-European? Hannah, thank you. Islam. All right, and we're going to go through all 3 of those tonight. And I'm going to feel good about. In fact, I personally am attached to your 30-minute essay. All right, I really am. I think it's good. Thank you for my smile. Everybody else looked at me like, oh, pretty smile. All right, I think you'll be ready for it. I think you'll do well. All right, so don't be intimidated by that. That's a chance for you to pick something you feel good about, strong about. Right? Now I want to go back to this idea of cultivating grain during the Neolithic period. Grains were cultivated earlier in the region known as Mesopotamia than England, where we just were. We're going to be looking at structures in this area known as Mesopotamia, the ancient Near East. They're older than Stonehenge. So this mastery of grain provides phenomenal opportunities for growth. Now we move from, obviously, prehistory to history. So we have historical records of ancient Mesopotamia, written in which language? Just say it out loud. Oh yeah, let's just say that out loud. All right, here we go. All right, the alphabet used by the ancient Mesopotamians. What was that? Catherine, thank you. Not Sanskrit. That's ancient India. Kind of uniform. All right. Now we'll see that. We'll see kind of that wedge shape. Now, I want to remind you that no one walked around at the time saying I'm from Mesopotamia. All right. Mesopotamia gets its name as the land between, in the middle. That's what Meso means. That's what that prefix means. Between the great Tigris and Euphrates, the area known as the Fertile Crescent. Okay. These people were associated with their city-states. So you would reference yourself, kind of the earliest time period as a Sumerian. Okay. And the latest time period is the Assyrians, very warlike culture that closes them out. All right. For our purposes, please hear that. I'm not asking you to do that. You will have to identify something as being Mesopotamian. All right, I'm not going to ask you to differentiate between each of these. And again, that would be a very appropriate challenge in a class that spent more than a couple days on Mesopotamia. Okay, but you just need to know the canon of your Mesopotamian canon. Right? Now we're going to begin again with the Sumerians, though, and we're going to begin with the ziggurat. Now here's where I think you're talking about a ticket item. Okay. The ziggurats are religious, and all that remains of them is the temple platform. And that's because of the building material. What is a ziggurat built with? Say it out loud. This is easy, right? Mud, brick. All right, so we've lost many of the multiple layers. Right? So at one time, it would have had this kind of idea of kind of reaching up to the sky. Now, this is our go-to point. This is we can look at something even today now. I think you'll be fine. I think a final exam in all classes is a great way for you to kind of just flex your muscles and see what you know. All right, so here are the statuettes of Tel Asman. These were used as votive statues. So literally in constant prayer for the patron. Now, I'm going to pick one of them out. This is the one I picked. All right, I could have picked any of them. Know how many? Not how many. Okay, but I'm going to pick this one. Looking very carefully, how many points do you want to strive for with each essay? 3. And 3 is not, you guys, 3 is a strive for point. That's not necessarily excellence. So, but always push to have 3 points. All right, if you can have more, that's always great. So looking carefully at this statuette, what would be your three go-to points that belong in the Mesopotamian canon? What would be your three support points that you would do that? Logan, I'm ready for you.
Well, he's not wearing shoes, so that's a big giveaway that he's on holy ground. He has a beard, and that indicates he has a high status. Yeah, all right. And then his wide eyes looking up states that he's looking to God. So,
Those are good. Those are great. Right? What's a little buzz phrase for the Mesopotamians about those wide eyes, looking upwards? What's a little buzz thing? Nice to have. Logan was great, but just to add and embellish. Manny, thank you.
Or windows of the soul.
Nice. Windows to the soul. Now, there are two other things to remind you of. These are statuettes, which means they're very small. And a good support point, of course, would be that the Mesopotamians were not blessed with a lot of quarries. So anytime you see something larger, it's usually very, very important. Now, I'm hoping we've been together long enough that we can see how cylindrical this is. Is that another nice point for you to know? Good, okay. That's the standard of is pretty important. Let's maybe take a minute on this. Let's take a minute on this. We would say it's divided into, well done. And we would say that here and down here are good examples of what? Composite animals. Well done. Very nice. Very nice. All right. This is a nice stopping point. All right. This is one of those pieces that I would feel comfortable asking you to identify by name. I would. So without looking back at your notes, and it's great if you have them, all right? And I want to warn people, some of you are trying to take notes, and bless you, and you're welcome to do that. Please don't get frustrated, because we're going to move pretty light and fast. All right, so you've got excellent notes over everything we're studying. So if you just want to jot down something because you think you need to, but I'm not going to move at a note-taking speed. I want to warn people of that. All right. So Lily, what's the name?
The victory cell of Neuron.
Well done. Okay, the victory cell of Neuron. Now, this is a very, very important piece because it's quite large. It's made of pink sandstone, and so hence it's in relatively poor shape. But its sheer size indicates its importance. Note that you have no trouble picking out Neuron. No trouble at all. And I would like a hand on this now. What's the term that we're going to use to identify neurons? And thank you for all these hands. I really mean this now. I'm pleased to see so many hands. So don't be hesitant to do that for me. Allison, thank you.
He's in hierarchical scale.
Well done. So here we can see neurons in hierarchic scale. Now, no, we have some fading, but we can still see that at one point he would have a very large beard. He's wearing, note that the full horn crown, okay, signifying his status. All right. And note the attempt, okay, here he is, let's do a close-up of him. But note the attempt to kind of move, it's still somewhat in ground level registers, but the attempt at giving you a landscape setting. Is everybody good on that? Clearly a military victory, okay, and you can see him here subduing the enemy. Now this is going to push a little bit, but flex your intellectual muscles. Anybody good, feel comfortable identifying this important Mesopotamian ruler? Rachel, thank you.
Isn't it Gudea?
Gudea. Okay. Now this is harder. I mean, you're out there. This Peter's okay. This is maybe a higher degree of difficulty. I mean, this is in that. But Gudea is very unique now because he's very atypical in that he's usually clean shaven and wearing this woolen hat. Okay, I want to call that to your attention. So one of the reasons I like to pause on him is that you should still be able to look at him and see other elements of your Mesopotamian canon. Are you solid with that? Right? Now he's made of this very hard substance in the family of diorite. So again, kind of rare, this very precious material. And note, this is also a votive statue. Are you solid on that? Look at those prayerful hands. As Logan mentioned earlier, he's barefoot, not unique to the Mesopotamian culture, but an important sign that something is holy, standing on holy ground. This is an absolute must-know. Now, I'm just going to tell you that, all right? This is an absolute must-know. I know not all of you, and I respect choices on that. I would love to dialogue with you when it gets time to sign up for AP exam. But I am hoping that many of you sit for your AP exam. right? And this is one of those great pieces that can be used in so many ways. I knew you were gonna be a little like, don't hold your heads down like you're ashamed, you're already warning you that. And look, they come bearing cookies, so you know, how can we resist the natural? Thank you. Okay, a little round of applause, how nice is that? All right, now, so are you ready? Here's what I want. I want the title of this work, and I want the historical event, which the title kind of gives away, but I want you to flesh it out a little bit. You know, what is the title of this work and why is it so important? Like, what is it and why is it so dang important? Okay, why is it so important? Thank you for the hands, Amanda.
It's the law code of Hammurabi, and the sun god is giving Hammurabi the right to rule.
Well done. Right. So here we can see all of the laws written. So Hammurabi attempted to unify all of the laws of Mesopotamia, so that as you travel from city-state to city-state, you didn't have to reacquaint yourself with the laws, all right? So they're written in cuneiform here. Right? And again, note the size, note the material, you know, all these things make it important. But we're interested in this low relief. Give me another name for low relief. Bas relief, well done, all right? So here's Hammurabi, okay? Obviously, you know, with the sun god, Shamash is his name, but just know him as a Mesopotamian god, giving him the right to rule. That was an excellent word choice. All right. This is a Mesopotamian citadel. It's a citadel of Sargon. Not as important for you to memorize that. But here, this is how I want you to feel pretty good about what you know. What would be your context clue looking at this, that it's Mesopotamian? What about this would let you know you're looking at the fortress for Mesopotamia? It's not from any place in Europe. It's not from the United States. I'm going to guess that I am in Mesopotamia. You look at another view, because I should have a few more hands. It's a hard question, but I'm appreciative of the hands. Yeah, Olivia, I got to call on you, darling, because you're just, I can tell you're struggling, and I just love that you're trying. What's your context clue to Mesopotamia?
Is it maybe like the Ziggurat temple building?
It may be sort of totally, is nice, all right? So note that we see this ziggurat, right? Now, what's very important now, we're closing out Mesopotamia now. I mean, if you think, we move pretty rapidly, we're moving rapidly tonight, my friends. We're hitting highlights, right? So we now look at the closing, and these are the Assyrians, and they were very warlike people, okay? And this is a citadel. Everybody saw it on that fortress. Right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to imagine we're entering here. Clearly you can't just enter it willy-nilly. Okay, this is clearly built for safety. So we're going to enter here, and we're going to be greeted by these lamassus. Now lamassus are a very good example of a composite figure, but also a what else? Guardian figures. Well done. Now, you should just be a champ at recognizing this as being Mesopotamian. Are you a champ at that? I'm a champ. I have no trouble, all right? But again, they shouldn't be in a museum. You know, the Louvre has some of these, the British Museum does, the Oriental Institute, which is the University of Chicago, has a few of these. All right, so, you know, these are quite worth seeing. All right, now we're going to take a look at the Ishtar Gate. Now, the Ishtar Gate has been reconstructed here. And this is in this wonderful museum in Berlin, very worth your time to see. And what makes the Ishtar Gate so unique, I think, and so special is actually its medium. Put up a hand and identify. Well, what's the medium for the Ishtar Gate? What's the medium that we're working with here? Ariana, thank you. Lace brick. Right, so taking the mud brick that we've talked about before, doing this extra step, okay, of adding these fabulous colors. Right, now again, we get to see animals as guardian figures, noting that each of these was individually or hand molded. All right, now we're going to actually leave, so I really want to highlight that. We're going to leave Iraq, which is where Mesopotamia is located, and we're going to travel east to ancient Iran. All right, so it was known as Persia at the time, and we're going to the capital, Persepolis, and we're going to look at the audience hall, okay, of Darius. Now, what probably is the most important thing to remember about this audience hall is who destroyed it. So who's responsible for destroying this audience hall? Not building it, but destroying it. That's what we're going to talk about, okay? Tara, thank you. Alexander the Great, well done. All right. I'm good on that. Very good. Okay, last call for tallying for pizza, so if you haven't tally marked, get up there and do that right now. And you can start a new pizza if you want to. If you're a person who gets to eat for free, that's great. If you're a person that needs to throw in $3, throw it in. If you're a person who should throw in $3 but you're poor, come and tell me and I'll cover for you. You can pay me later. Okay? So don't worry about that.
Oh my gosh, there's the camera.
Wow.
No, I got it. Let's just start
Do you have all the words, or is it just, or just the important stuff? So I want to make one of these, and I don't take I think I'm just going to include the influence. And then maybe if we use font colors and highlighting.
And then I started to do that, and then I just had to put it out. Like, I have it in my house, I have more on
Okay, animator, Regina, animator. You know you're gonna do money for me. Pass it down to Anna, because she's so good at it. That's, oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be really fast.
Rachel, are we still on Friday?
Probably.
At breadcrumb?
Probably. I don't like that.
I'm just gonna post it on YouTube.
Oh, you're really doing that? I thought you was kidding.
No.